Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit because there's a lot of, let me just see if I can move this slide. So I have this. Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about what's happening in our current educational system, because there's a lot of you guys that ask me, what's your intake on this? And it's basically, in general, as you know, that's the number one reason why I wrote the book Just Pass Math Success Guide for Parents and Learners, because not to give them all the math hacks and give them shortcuts to anything, but it's basically just bringing another perception to their minds, telling them, look here, math is not the alpha and omega. If you're successful in it, well done. If you are unsuccessful in it and you pass, you just get that it's 1% difference to the pass rate. Well done as well. And then now you can achieve your goals, whether it's becoming an artist, whether it's becoming not ever using any math principles that's not necessary in order for you to achieve your goals. Basic math is core. Subtract, add, multiply, and divide. That's the most core things, okay, that you need to survive in life, to understand that. Because centuries ago, it was a problem. It was a little bit of a problem. And it made things a little bit so much easier for us. I want to say a little bit. But so there's some of you guys that ask me, Paulvin, what do you think about what's happening now with our global crisis? Now, number one, there's so much I can say about it. That's why I posted these. I'm not sure if you're interested, just to share my thoughts on what's happening every day on a daily basis. Basically, I was doing it for 40 days or 50 days, and then things worked. Lockdown was eased, and then certain businesses, industries were open up, and then it was back to new normal. So you can go check it out on my Instagram. I have the series of videos there. That's not on my YouTube channel, and just share your thoughts on it as well. So there's a lot. So every day, every third day at least, I'm trying to post a video there. But anyway, in connection with what's happening, especially in South Africa, right? And somebody commented, posted a status on his personal Facebook page, and he said, it's so frustrating what the government is doing in terms of reopening the schools. And I was like, you know what, my friend, like, the problem with human beings in general is that they are afraid of change. They are afraid to adapt to new things and a new lifestyle. And I'm talking specifically about it because I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I started off my journey in network marketing, and that's where I realized that people are really afraid to stick to make any changes in their life, and it's for their own benefits. And for instance, if you look at the school, like the basic education department of the government, right? The basic education of the government, the South African government, I think they barely spend enough time to ask themselves and to find solutions on asking themselves, how can we send school to kids and teachers? Or how can we send school to teachers so that they can provide the schooling to, or education, let me rather say education to kids? They spend much more time on how can we send kids back to school. And there's a lot of you guys that's putting posts out there. You know what? The funny thing is that when we had one case or two cases, they closed the schools. All of the schools, it was closed within 4 days. Now we have school reopened on the 8th of June. So schools have been open now for 12 days. That's in South Africa and Western Cape. The schools were open on the 1st of June already. So on the 12th of June, all the schools were reopened, and we had more than 50,000 cases and more than, I think it was 800 or 1,000 deaths already. So it's a bit mind-boggling. So now the government is saying, yes, they're having all these, research that show that kids can barely get the virus, get infected. But guess what? Within a week's space, more than 80 kids got infected, and more than 1,000 staff members, that's including teachers, got infected. And I think that's just in the Western Cape, within the first week. So they closed the schools when we had one case, right? And then they reopened it when we had more than 50,000 cases. So now they're saying that they have this, but I definitely think, like, that's why certain schools is opening. My nose is a bit blocked. Anyway, sorry. So certain schools are had to close down because there were positive cases on school, and there's certain schools that still, like, I think it was in this week where the news was out that one of the schools, the principal got infected, and somehow they kept the school open because they know in which areas and which classrooms the principal was, and the daughter was also infected with the virus, and the principal was still in school waiting for his results, self-isolating. So these are the things that's happening now. So we had one case, we closed down the schools, we reopened the case schools at 50,000 plus cases. So yes, the government is saying, yes, you don't have to send your kids to school. You can register them. They can leave this year, the next 6 months. Then they will have to repeat the year next year, or they can apply for homeschooling. Getting the material from the teachers and the parents. But it's so selfish. In general, this is just my point of view. Like, they are doing things one-minded, they all have these one-minded strategies. They barely think of kids that don't have a laptop, don't have data, don't have a cell phone. They don't cover those kids. They just say, okay, here's the material. They give you two options. You can stay at home, repeat the year next year, if there's going to be a vaccine, or you can do whatever the case may be, or you can homeschool your child, or you can homeschool yourself, studying basically at home, using all these digital stuff they have. So I'm really, this is mind-boggling for me. This is mind-boggling because even in the Western Cape, like, I'm in the epicenter, we have, the last time I checked, we had 1,400 deaths. We had more than 1,000 in Western Cape. Western Cape was the damn first province to reopen the schools. That's how selfish they are in this. The leaders, they're making it a political thing. Especially our premier, Alan Wendy. I'm going to say his name, okay? They already decided they want to open up everything in the first, after the third. When the lockdown was initially for 3 weeks. Newton is running towards the door because I see I'm getting fired up or angry. They already decided they want to open up everything on week 4 or week 3 of lockdown. They were ready, and the president said, look here, there's certain provinces, there's certain areas that need to stay on a specific level to maintain the spread of this virus. And I don't see any changes. I don't see the strategies. They're posting posters on lampposts. I'm not sure if the people are reading. Kids are playing outside without masks. They go inside the grandparents' house. They get infected, or as the signs say, or as the government is saying, children don't get infected that easily. So the kids go home, and so this is a tip I gave before schools were reopening. This is a tip I gave. Let me just pause here for a while. Newton is barking. Let me just pause. So this is a tip I gave most of the parents. See, I don't think this is going to work. Let me just pause this video until Newton. Okay. I had to close the door because I know Newton is not going to stop now. So where was I? Well, I have to think. It's early in the morning, so that's fine. I have my coffee here. Yeah, so I think I was at the premiere. So the thing is, I'm in the Western Cape, I'm in the epicenter. We have 60 to 70% of the cases is in the Western Cape. We are leading by 30,000, a difference of 30,000. Most of the deaths is here in Western Cape, and I'm in the hotspot. There's more than 5,000 cases or 4,000 cases. I have to check actually now. But the last time I checked, it was 4,196 cases here in the community that I'm in the sub-district, and then 2-3 minutes away from here, there's another community. They also a hotspot. Over 5,000 cases there. It's becoming a political thing, and the President Cyril Ramaphosa said, Western Cape, here's help. And then there was a whole thing about it's becoming a political thing. Basically what they're saying, we have everything in order, and we don't need help. We need all the help that we can get, Western Cape government and all the leaders. And I don't want to make it a political thing, but let's just show from the politics now about what's happening now also, because I know this wasn't in the solidarity between political parties wasn't going to last. I know that wasn't going to work for I know that wasn't an option for a very long time. It was there for 3 or 4 weeks, and in certain political parties was like, is it becoming a race thing? Is becoming this? Is becoming that? And it's like, oh God, this is what's going to kill us. Now we have this problem of, because it's next year we have voting then it's a whole voting thing again. So now they're trying to win the people's hearts, in terms of that. So my question is, in these impoverished communities, why don't they use the same cars? I'm not sure if it's happening in all the communities, but I know they're doing it in impoverished communities, and I'm in one of those communities where 10,000 cars, not literally, but there's a lot of cars, a month, 2 months before the voting happens, then they shout at people over these mics, don't forget to vote for change and all of those things. I know who I'm going to vote for. I've been making the same mistake for voting. I've been voting for quite a while. But I'm not going to make that same mistake again. I know who I'm voting for this time. Because especially in impoverished communities, and that's what happening now in the education, in the schools. I knew the impoverished schools were going to get the most infections, especially with the teachers. They had all these manipulator videos from schools where they have this, kids are going to move here, and then where the MEC of education, is it MEC? The minister of the educational departments, where they go to schools and make these small little videos to show that the schools are ready. Yes, there's no way you're going to stop the infection, but at least we can have or generate other solutions, other things. Sending kids back to school was always a risk, it was always a risk. And yes, we can't stop the virus now, but at least we can stop thinking, have this one narrow mindset of, let's send kids to school, let's go back. I'm not an education analyst. Why didn't you guys listen to not I don't want to say the most important, but people that have been in the education system for a very long time? We have ministers that have background in law and not even education system, teaching wise. They don't know what's happening in schools most of the time. They've only been on this journey of being a minister probably for 2-3 years. That's not enough. You actually have to talk to the parents, talk to the students, talk to the teachers at schools, the parents that going to school meetings, to see what's going on there. Now out of 1,000 plus schools, you visit 3, 4, 5 schools, and now you say, okay, schools are ready. And now you're also waiting for the schools to say, okay, we are ready. And look at how disgusting the hygiene is in certain schools that reopen. The schools are open. I'm like, gosh, I think it was Limpopo. And I saw the most disgusting. It's not even a toilet. It's just bricks. It's disgusting. Hygiene. There's no hygiene. There's no toilet, and that's basically how you can put it. So homeschooling, I think I'm going to release a series in connection with that, but I'm not an expert on that, so I'm just going to give you my 2 cents. This is what I think about what you should do and all of those things, because at least this is what educators tell kids to do at home. So now you actually have to do it at home. And I know there's certain parents that won't be able to assist their kids because they're also maybe back at work now, or they work from home, so now they have to juggle it. But there's thousands, if not millions, videos on YouTube where you can just search and research the homeschooling and homeschooling, for grade whatever, or homeschooling for kids, homeschooling for teenagers, or whatever. Just go to YouTube if you're going to do homeschooling. But now to the parents, this is a point where you can actually see that you also have to do your part, okay? You have to also play your part as a parent, not just sending your kids to school and good luck, okay? Just throw me in good luck. Now the ball is in your court, and you can't wait for your government, okay, or your counselor to do everything, right? Yes, there's certain things they have to do, but if there's something you can take control of, especially now with the system, education system, because I think they're cutting back. When lockdown was announced, there was strategies of schooling on TV, giving the education. But what I did, I was like, I know there's certain kids that maybe don't have a TV at home, but at least they have, WhatsApp. There wasn't even a WhatsApp support group from the government. Why didn't they do that? These people, I know there's people in the private sectors. This is an opportunity for them to make money. But now that we're going through this tough time, rough patch, people are losing their jobs, and it's from companies, big companies like South African Airways. They had to there's still court cases, I think, going around. Should we close up? That's one of the first companies. Airgas, that company is almost more than 50 years, 60 years old. I think in 1934. 22,000 people are going to lose their jobs, or about to lose their jobs in the South African Broadcast Company community, or whatever, SABC. About 600 people about to lose their jobs. So, message for the private educational sectors as well. Try not to make everything about opportunity where you generate income. For instance, as soon as the lockdown was announced, I was like, damn, what can I do to add value to my community? What can I do to add value to the current situation of students about to not receiving education. I was like, okay, WhatsApp, and maybe also a video on Facebook. But I mean, WhatsApp and television risk, but obviously I can't get onto onto television. I don't think I will grab that opportunity to provide education. I'm not sure if it's selfish from me, but I don't think, in general, I'm against the system that we have. For instance, the funny thing is, one of the things that were mentioned by one of I think it's the spokesperson of education, not sure, but this guy also said, he said two things. So Professor Jonathan Jansen, professor he's an education analyst, and he said, look here, schools, there's a 1 hour video, I'm going to drop that link also here. He said, when should kids go back to school? And one of the things he said was, next year, when it comes to 2012, or 2021, the grade 7s should go to grade 8, and I think he said the grade 11 should go to grade 12, just, and things like that. But also the grade 12s should, the basic education department should work with the university, the lecturers, the professors, to figure out what we're going to do, so that kids or teenagers and the youth can be ready to go to university next year. So that's what he said, right? And he basically said school year is basically done. And I think, I don't know who this guy was, but he obviously don't agree with Professor Jonathan. And he said what Professor said was actually stupid, what he said. And Professor Jonathan, look, I'm not biased, I'm not saying that, he's right in everything, but I agree with Professor Jonathan. This guy is a genius, okay? And he's thinking already 10 years, 20 years ahead what can happen. So everything he said in that video and in that interview, that 10-minute interview, I agree with him. There we go. But basically, this spoke to the other version of this person was also interviewed on television, and he said, it was immature of Professor Jonathan to say those things, and they feel that they can complete the year. I'm like, really? Did you see how many things is in certain subjects? I'm like, most of the teachers say they're already rushing through the chapters in textbooks. I'm like, damn, can people be so, that he's immature? Can you be so, are you really literate? I'm asking myself that question. And then he also said, so here's the thing, he also said, yes, they can complete the school year because there's certain subjects that have, it's almost like filler chapters. I'm like, this is what I've been talking about for 5+ years. There's certain things that's in, especially, like for instance, I specifically mentioned this. There's a sub-chapter in my book called Bad Advice, where I say that, you can actually pass math. If you're desperate, there's certain chapters that you can study, but you have to know it by heart. And you can still pass math. So he said that, and I was like, so school's not actually 12 years. School's actually 6 years. Or school is actually 10 years. Or school is actually 9 years. If you take out all those filler chapters, because I know these stupid things, and not stupid, but irrelevant. It's not even linked to what you're going to do. That's why one of the things I chatted, there's a video, but basically we talked about anxiety and depression. Go check out, I'm also going to drop that link there, where I talk about to a psych expert, and we had this chat when we jogged together. I'm like, you know what, her name is Cassandra, and I will like, no, you know what's Cassandra, I think, the school system is so stupid. there's certain subjects that's not specifically meant for that student, but he have to do it because the school is in that group where he have to do it. What they should actually do is they should go for a test it's a scientific, there's a lot of science behind this test where you can actually figure out if I'm really made for maths. Okay, is that my strong point? Yes, you have to practice it, but there's certain things that you're not, like I can't do. For instance, my case, I've been doing a lot of things physically with my hands: tiling, putting in ceilings, painting, carrying bricks, mixing cement, concrete, all these hard labor things. And I was like, I don't like this. I went to work, like I had a few days where, as a child, as a youngster, where I went to work with my dad. I'm so blessed to have had that opportunity. I didn't work physically. I didn't do anything physically, but I know there were times when we had to, what they call the slab type of thing. Then I was like, move this, and I was like, I don't like this, and that was an experiment for me, an early experiment. So that's why I was like I'm more of a thinker, I'm not praising myself when I say, okay, I'm the best critical thinker, but I'm saying, so I had to do a few things to figure out what I really love. And I loved working in the kitchen, recipes was a thing for me, reading the instructions and making this recipe and doing all these weird things in the kitchen. And that's why I went into the science field. But it was a lifetime of experiments in my youth years. And this is a similar thing that they should do at schools, before you even go to school. And she told me, this test that they should do, or they must do it, they're supposed to have it every 7 years. And I remember also when, I think it was in grade 4 or grade 5, where we went to a specific program, and it was a bunch, we went onto PCs. It was a program, and they asked us a bunch of questions. Do you like, so a bunch of questions, and at the end of the day, it's telling you, okay, you need to go into this field and that field. These are the tests that they should have in schools and do at schools, or not in schools. I'm not sure if there's a program that provides this, but this is something that's really going to open many doors for us, because now they're already predicting education. This amount of this percentage is not going to get work because kids are not going back to school. If you get a degree, this is the percentage you're not going to get to work. This is going to be the people that's going to be unemployed. Instead of talking about skills, you need skills now. You need to know how to start your own garden, because things are going to get expensive now. If you're in the middle class, it's going to be really hard for you because you don't have enough skills. You don't have entrepreneurship skills. People still believe in their jobs, while other people are losing jobs. Do you think you're that special? It's a good problem. Even the teachers now is in a bunch of, I want to say it in a very nice way. They're in trouble because in certain public schools or certain schools, the salary of teachers, the income, the monthly check, depends on school fees. And during lockdown, principals had to phone teachers to say, look here, I'm sorry, you won't have a job next month when schools reopen. Sorry, we're going to take 50% of your salary. Sorry, we're going to give you 30% of your salary. So, everybody have to wake up, okay? Educate yourself, to the teachers as well. So a message for the teachers. I've been talking about it for years. I know 1 or 2 or 3. I basically just know, let me see, one teacher. I know there's a few, but they're not as hardcore as this teacher that I know, where this teacher will put out content everywhere on Facebook, not sure if this teacher's on Twitter, but on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, she's now on the media, as she's a lot in these local magazines, okay, and radio talk shows, because she knows what's happening. And I saw somewhere also face mask. So this is entrepreneur. This is what I'm talking about, because you have to smell what's about to come. Okay, you have to think a little bit further. There's still teachers that want to. One of the things that happens now is where, this is what I heard, teachers over the age, I'm not sure 55 or what, because most of them have, certain illnesses, health issues. And as we know, our president said, if you can work from home, work from home if you're older than 60, because you are the guys at risk. So there's teachers with these illnesses and they can't go to school. They have maybe asthma or all of those things, and they have to work from home or do whatever at home. So now they don't have the skill of talking to a camera. Yes, no one in my room, in my living room, and I'm talking to this camera. So you have to get used to the skill. Why is you're not shy when you talk to parents, random parents? Just imagine this, parents in front of you or a crowd in front of me, but I'm talking to you and there's no one in my room. There's no one. It's just me, myself, and Newton. So that's a message for the teachers. Also to the parents, you also have to love reading now, and adapt all these certain skills. You can't just watch TV the whole day or series or play with your kids outside and keep them from the actual world, because for the moment, and I don't know for how long, we have to live with this virus. It's going to be similar to AIDS, where there's no vaccine or cure, and that we have to live with it, okay? But obviously you have to wash your hands before you, like I'm touching my nose now because it is a little bit early and I have a sinus problem, so my nose is a bit itchy all the time. But you have to, this is an opportunity for you to teach your kids your way. And there's a lot of, I got inquiries now over the past few, 3-4 months, where parents, my readers specifically will ask me, can I use this method? I'm like, look, it's up to you now. I don't think the teachers or anybody can be picky in terms of what method you should use in math, as long as your child understand what's going on there, because you're doing the best that you can now. You're doing all this YouTube research, and so they have to take it as it is. Can't restrict you to one specific method of doing things. But this opportunity for you to learn your kids your way, okay? Teach your kids your way. Take them to the kitchen. Let's do this baking. Let's skills. Now it's opportunity for you to teach your child kids skills, not just to stick to the syllabus all the time. Because now I think this is what they cut. There's certain chapters in the syllabus that they're taking out. Nice opportunity for you to expand your child's skills, not just because now they're not swimming anymore, especially in South Africa. There's a lot of restrictions. They can't go, events is cancelled, kids parties and all of those things. But that's everything that you can do at home. And please teach your kids now. Teach your kid now is the best opportunity for you to teach your kids hygiene. Every day you should have basically a chapter on hygiene. But anyway, I'm going to have a series. I think I'm going to do my research, but I must be passionate about it, because I'm passionate about this subject of what's happening now. And also message for, so I gave message, my thought. I had a chat with the community, my thoughts, and then also to teachers, and then parents, and now also the students. You also have to do your best, okay? Don't let this be a setback for you. There's this one quote that say, for every setback, a setback, I think that's it, a setback is a comeback. Now I'm talking nonsense. Wait, a setback is a setup for a comeback. So this is going to make you stronger. This is going to be opportunity for you to tell your kids the story one day, your kids, your grandkids, where you can tell them, wow, the pandemic, my great grandparents or my great parents was in 1918, called the Spanish flu. And in my country, 50,000 people died per week, for 3 weeks. 6 weeks, and 300,000 people passed away. But in the first week, we were lucky enough to have all these, you can tell your kids all these stories one day. You can actually write a book and tell them, start a journal where you can tell them, write a story, what you're doing on a daily basis. So you did this today, you learn how to cook, you learn how to, you started your own YouTube channel, and you heard somebody passed away today because they had the COVID-19. They were infected with COVID-19. One of your friends that didn't listen, they visited friends and they went to all these parties. And so you have an amazing story to tell them. Okay, one day when we have that vaccine, so you can actually start a journal, then you can convert it into a book, an audiobook, a movie, music tracks. So there's a lot of things you can do now to develop a lot of skills, because I know the teachers is not going to like this, but school is keeping you back from a lot of things, because remember, there's certain kids that have to travel to school. They have to spend 1 hour, 2 hours in a bus to go to a building to get education. But now you're saving 2 hours. Now you can use that 2 hours to develop another skill, learn another language. Okay, so don't let this be a setback for yourself. Okay, this is an amazing, powerful story that you can tell your kids one day. Okay, make a video of yourself where you sit in front of your camera, and I know TikTok is going crazy now. Save all those TikToks, don't delete it. You're gonna tell your kids one day, I was bored in the house and I was in the house bored. Bored in the house and I was in the house bored. So savor those moments. Now you have a lot of time to spend with your family, and you can still chat with your friends. You can stand here, your friend can be your neighbor, you can stand by the door, you don't have to go visit them. Okay, so this is an amazing story and an opportunity for you to find out what you actually love. Okay, build something physical. Like I said earlier in the video, that I had to do a lot of experiments where I need to do physical hard labor, and I figure out this is not my thing. Okay, so go build something with your hands. See if you love making your hands messy and rough and all of those things. Go to the kitchen, do something. Take out any recipe, take it from your grandmother or just out of your head. Put everything together, everything obviously that's eatable, and let obviously your parents or a grown-up observe you to give you a little bit of guidance if you're not a toddler but a teenager, or still young, to actually work with heat and all of those things. But do those type of crazy experiments. Be a mad scientist. Okay, be a mad scientist indoors. So when the economy open, or when you get to that point where you're ready to, where you need to go out in the world, and work and go study, that when you are prepared for it. So imagine this: you don't know how to cook. Okay, so for the next 6 months, for the next 3-4 months, you are mastering the art of baking a cake, baking certain essential foods, like rice, how to cook rice. Some people don't know how to cook rice, boiled potatoes, and all of those things, just to set up a normal meal. And when you're 19 years old or 18 years old, or when you go to university and you have an opportunity to receive accommodation, you receive accommodation from the university where you have to take care, you get housing and all of those things, electricity bills being paid by the specific government, or excuse me, company or whatever, or by the university, you get a bursary, and you have to cook your own meals. You're gonna save instead of going to the shop or restaurant and buy food. Okay, and now you can generate a skill. So when next you can, there's so much opportunity. So this, don't see it as I know some of you guys are maybe going through anxiety and depression, especially now. There's a lot of gender-based violence going on. Just remember this support. Within 2 weeks, you know how many, within 1 week, I think it was 2 weeks, you know how many murders there were. And I know some of you might be afraid, especially as kids, especially as females. And this is where I say the education system needs to change. There should be a course. I remember, I'm not sure what they teach kids in life orientation, but I think there should be, life orientation should change into, we have females in one classroom, and when we have males in one classroom, and we should teach them about, females. We should teach them certain things. I don't know what, specifically what, but now I think one of the solutions for men and for young men is to make that changes early enough where we can teach them. Okay, females, science show this is happening to females, and when this is happening to them, we shouldn't do this to them, and we shouldn't expect them to do the certain things for us when they feel this way. Okay, I know there's people that say, there's no textbook for how to treat females, but at least there's certain principles that you can teach young men, because, especially in schools, because maybe they not receiving it at home. Okay, maybe they think it's right because they see the dads, the grandparents, the granddad doing it at home. Now they want to bring it to school. They want to apply it themselves. They become aggressive in all of those things. And I think this is just one of the things you can do as a school, okay, and as a teacher, and if you're a parent, okay. So if you're in that predicament where you feel there's abuse at your home or house, or you feel that your neighbor, if you hear things breaking down up there and all of those things, call the police officers, okay, call the cops, make an anonymous call or report there's something happening there, and you can tell them, look, it's happening every night, and I can hear how the kids are screaming, because remember, it's not you that's in that house, but it could have been you, okay, but because you are blessed, you have lovely parents, you have a nice house and all of those things, you're blessed with a lot of things, but don't be selfish, okay. That could have been you. You could have been that child in that house crying to see what's happening there. Okay, if you see your friend or your tomorrow when you go to the shop and you see something is not looking right, and you can maybe we're not allowed to, social distance is important, and depending on when you're watching this video, you can still ask your friend, okay, I'm talking to the kids now, you can still ask him, what happened last night? You guys went crazy. And then you can say, no, they might, or that the girl or the boy might say, wow, my dad went crazy on my mom last night, she's not doing too well today, and all of those things. So give him, I know you're still young, but we are, if you're kids, you can do it in a really creative way. You can't just, maybe you just want to, what happened last night, did you mom? No. So yeah, so because that's a real problem now, and I think hopefully if you're a teacher and you listen to this, you should also stand up against I know there's some of the teachers out there that's agreeing with me and say, wow, poor man, if there's something I can do. I know there's a lot of I think I saw on Facebook where it's teachers, on this Facebook page, but they're talking about what's happening in school. I think this is where you guys can also stand up and say, okay, we need this, where we teach young men, we need to teach them, guys need to talk to guys. Guys, listen here, we need to take care of our women. And today we're going to discuss this, and these are the things that's supposed to happen in schools, because it's becoming a problem. I had a chat with, I'm going to drop that link also here, so I think there's about 2-3 links that I'm going to have to drop in here. I talked to another psychologist from Tongaat in KZN, and the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks of lockdown, I had a chat, and she told me every second 2 out of 3 women are experiencing gender-based violence, where when we were in hard lockdown, if the woman cough, then the men, the husband will look at the wife and he will punch her. Don't cough close, don't cough here, go cough the outside. Stuff like that, it's creepy. And when I heard it, I'm like, wow, this is your wife. I don't care if she's infected. I will also be like, infect me, because I love you so much. We have to go through this together. But if this is how things are going on, we young men, I'm especially talking about young men, if this is how things is going to go on now, we need to stop it somewhere. We need some education somewhere. If it's too late for 40 plus, 50 plus to educate them, to change, because it is a challenging thing to not change people, to learn, adapt to new things. We need to start it now, early already, because COVID is here and it's exposing a lot of bad things. What's happening at the school don't have hygiene, all of those things. And it's exposing the government, they haven't done enough. Definitely not enough. And it's exposing your lack as a parent of not, how to control your kids, lack of discipline, all of those things. And it's exposing the teachers as well, your skills. Do you really love teaching? Did you open up did you, if you love teaching, and let's say, for instance, I live in a rural area, and I was a teacher, I will sneak out, doesn't matter if it was illegal, I will sneak out in the afternoon to go buy essential goods every day. If I have 20 students, I will go buy one toilet paper every day, and then just buy the toilet paper, get a till slip, because I know it was crazy the first 2 weeks with the South African National Defence Force and the police officers, where they just stop people, random people, and ask them where were you, and they want to prove and all of those things. I would have stopped at the shop, go buy my stuff, get a till slip or whatever, and then, but at the same time, I'm delivering notes to kids. This is what you have to do. This is what you have to. Obviously, protecting myself. So for teachers, COVID exposed also teachers if they love their job, or are they only there for a monthly check? Because I think anyway. But so it's exposing also a lot of things. So COVID is not bad. It's bad for your health, and obviously a lot of people are dying. To everybody, if you've lost any family member that have succumbed to this virus, my condolences first of all to you and your family members, your friends, and your loved ones. It's a terrible virus, and even in this week, I saw, or was it last week? I think it was in this week, where I saw there was a news channel, and they interviewed this kids. It was a 7-minute interview, because they couldn't have had this interview for a long time, where they asked, because it's a girl, she's 15 or 14 years or 13 years old, and the boy is 7 years old, but they looked really confused. And the boy, the sister said her brother looked really confused, because he couldn't understand what's happening. His parents, it's almost like I see his face, he's not believing it, because both of his parents succumbed to the virus within 7 days. The mom passed away, and then the dad was also in the hospital, but they didn't see each other. They weren't in the same ward or the same room. But both were infected. They had the COVID-19 virus, and mom passed away, and then 5 days after that, the dad passed away. But the dad wasn't aware that the mom passed away. So stay strong, stay safe, stay at home if possible. And wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your nose. If you're indoors, especially if you're outdoors, okay, don't touch your nose. Like I'm touching my nose a lot now, but my hands are clean. As you can see, and wash your hands. Disinfect everything that you can that's touchable. For instance, this is a remote control. I disinfect it before I touch it. Okay, because I don't know if I touch it. Wash your hands with soap and water. Don't have to be hand sanitizer. And stay healthy, stay active. Don't watch news all the time. Keep your brain fit as well, and not just your body. And stay safe, please. And let this be a learning curve. Not learning curve, but let this be a learning curve for us, for everybody, that we're gonna win this. We're gonna beat this damn virus. Okay, it's a whole, and it's an invisible. It's invisible. What's the word I use? But you can't see it because if you go outside, that's why the mask is so important. If you go outside, you should expect anyone have the virus. So 6 feet, at least 1.5 meters away from that person. Okay, put mask on your face. Okay, if you go to the shop, take your soap water with you. You can and wipes and whatever's in your bag, and only do the essential things. Okay, avoid social gatherings. Okay, even because remember, there's certain people. Not everybody's wearing a mask. Not everybody's putting their mask on properly. Okay, and educate yourself with the virus as well. Because not everybody's educated. The virus can stick on any surface for a specific period of time. It can stay in the air. It's not airborne, but it can stay. If I have the virus and I sneeze here, it can stay here because it's particles stuck in the air. Okay, and then it will, vaporize or fall to the ground. Okay, so just stick to the rules and regulations of what the science is going on there. Keep yourself up to date with what's going on, okay, with this, because it's going to save you're going to save yourself, you're going to save lives, and especially if it's your parents, your grandparents, your friends, you're going to save lives, okay. And stay strong, stay positive, and stay at home, and stay safe. Thank you very much for